Hey, it's been a minute, hasn't it? Uh, I know you're not supposed to apologize on YouTube for not being around, but I'm going to apologize anyway because I have missed being here and I have missed chatting with you all. So I am very excited to be back at it. So let's see who's all here. Hey, Rob, welcome. And you're in. I think I saw you're in Malvern, and there's a like big gardening thing going on there soon. Isn't it a show of like oversized vegetables? And I think I read something really quick about it. Uh, Hello, Major Dog. Uh, it's lovely to be back. Thank you. Leanne, always good to see you. Allotted Chef, yum. Thanks for being here. Let's see who else we have. Oh, we have Stephen from the Urban White Buffalo Farm. Welcome. And Let's Grow Home is here. Uh, oh, yeah, it's been between the busyness of what happens at this point in the season and my, sleep issues, which I'm finding out now the more women I talk to that are my age are like, well, yeah, everyone has sleep issues now. But I don't think autoimmune stuff helps it. So I feel like I'm perhaps getting back, but I don't care because I miss you guys and I'm coming back anyway. So, September in the garden is, I think, one of the craziest months. We used to think like the big rush to get everything in. That's not, I feel like the garden now is wild. So many things are coming to the end of their natural life. I mean, like, if you planted bush beans, they're only going to live so long. Even the ellipsum that I had on one of my beds, I just pulled, it had to go because it was getting to the end of its natural life. And I'd like to be a little more, what's the word, specific about where I plant it next year. It's self-seeded and just went everywhere. Oh, hi, Let's Grow Home. Oh, yes. Isn't that true? I think any autoimmune piece, plus being not 25 anymore, kind of gives, at least for many women, I know, but I also know men struggle with sleep too, so it's not just us. But I think we have hormonal reasons for not having good sleep. And if you, again, add that onto it. So, harvest is hard and fast right now, isn't it? I seem to have a countertop filled with fresh produce a couple times a week. So there's a lot of trying to keep up with all that. Oh, well, good, Rob. We don't want to be, over the hotel's loudspeakers. So you can go back and read it later if you'd like to. So I was talking about the harvest, and I found my tomatoes this year. I don't know if any of you have had this issue. Oh, hi, Stephen. Stephen Brown's here. But my tomato plants have really been struggling, and I think a lot of it is we've had for our location anyway. We've had very high winds, a lot of storms, and tomato plants really took a beating. So they're not. I don't think they're produced as much, but I find that I'm getting a lot of tomatoes, so I don't think I can complain. But I know they took a lot of beating. A lot of my herbs, my mints, look like they've been through the worn back. As potatoes die back, they're not the prettiest plant to enjoy. But but they have to do that, right? So it's kind of that time of year. And yeah, we pulled out all this alyssum, pulled my, uh, I guess, my carrots that were ready at this point of the year, and got basil in because I still think we have time to grow a big harvest of that. So that pesto will be in our future. Uh, so what else are you guys all dealing with right now? Today was warmer than it's been in a long time. So we go from this kind of, it feels like fall, and today felt like the middle of summer. And I imagine our plants are just as confused as we are. We did find a monarch caterpillar on one of our carrots, or on the carrot greens, and we relocated him or her to a butterfly bush that we have, which apparently is one of their favorite habitats. So hoping that in the monarch caterpillar is very beautiful. So that was kind of a little adventure. Nature does its thing, right? And we just try to kind of coax it into a direction because that's about all we can do. Oh, hi, Francis. Sorry I haven't said hello to you. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry that you're laid up a bit. Yeah, this is not a good time of year for that, is it? Uh, yeah, no, it kind of does work as a buffet, doesn't it? Uh, let's see what else. Oh, you're in BC. Okay, you're a lot north of me. Um, yeah, I'm hoping we still have till the end of October for our first like frost. Uh, but my husband and I think, are going on a trip before then, so we might miss some of October. So I'm trying to figure out. Right now, I do these lives from a desktop and a desktop camera, webcam, all that. So I'm trying to get organized to be able to do it on my iPhone or iPad so that we won't have to miss any while we're traveling the country. Cross country trip. Should be fun. Yeah, isn't it? Let's Grow Home is saying started to like feel the chill in the mornings. Nope, that was Francis. Thank you, Francis. Um, we're starting to notice the chill in the morning, and then it gets dark here now in Scotland. Still refusing to put my heating on though. Wow. Yeah, we haven't gotten to that, but depending on where you are in Scotland, I know it's gets nice and chilly. I just had some friends who visited the UK the last couple of weeks. Had a lovely time, enjoyed it, and were, of course, I mean, the scenery you can't beat. So they thoroughly enjoyed their time there. We are thinking about doing a UK trip next year, and we might take the Queen Mary 2 to do it. So I think that sounds like a lot of fun. So we're going to be doing that. We're hoping this next year, maybe in 24. Hi, Mags. Welcome. So glad you're here. Let's see. Leanne was saying, I feel like lots of my stuff has ended sooner. Just waiting on the last tomatoes. Yep. I do have a new planting of carrots that I think I got in time. So I'm hoping, because they're the beautiful purple ones that I love. So I'm hoping that, sorry, I say a lot, and I'm trying to stop that. So I'm trying to keep those out until October so they get a little coolness, and hopefully, like everything else, gets sweeter if they do that. But Like I said, my tomatoes usually go almost up to the end of October. They're pretty well done. And again, I think a lot of it was the winds and the storms that we've had this summer. Stephen is saying he can't get over is the snap between summer and autumn. A lot of my flowers are looking scruffy, and it defo feels like it feels autumnal. I had to cut up 4 sunflowers today. The wind has been crazy. Yeah, I really feel like the wind has been. I don't remember winds like this. You get the occasional storm that comes through, but we've had them quite regularly. So, well, Max, say hi to your sister if you're still with her. Uh, yes, no, if we do the UK trip next year, which I think would be great fun, I plan on contacting a lot of my UK gardening friends and at least maybe showing up at their plot for a little bit and shooting a little YouTube video while I'm there. Yeah, so I'll make it very evident when I'm doing that. But I think that's our plan for next year. But we have a new grandson um, with this in the same family with our current grandson. So we're driving cross country to see the little man, and as long as we're hitting a few national parks on the way, and as long as the government doesn't shut down, which we will not find out until a day or two beforehand, um, we will be able to do that. We did a national park trip 7 years ago, and that was when the government shut down for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we got to see one national park. So we're hoping it all goes better. Hello, Claire. Welcome. Oh, retail therapy. I hope it went well. Okay, let's see what we've got. Some combo going on here. But I'm finding like right now, and because I think, well, I shouldn't say I think, we're going to be gone for most of the month of October, I'm changing how I plant at this point. I'm still putting it in because it's better to get it in and keep the garden covered so that weeds just don't take they will just take over it, right? So I'm still trying to do it, but trying to even do more ground covers and like green, not green manure, but clover, which is a great nutrition booster into the soil, and kind of, you know, let that do its thing. Oh, wouldn't it be fun? I would love to meet Tony in person. I've known him for so long now, and I just think, wouldn't that be fun to do it like in person? Yeah, and it's so many of you. I'm like, I know you. Uh, well, thank you and congratulations for my little grandson. He's adorable, looks very much like his brother. So I'm very excited. When they had their first um, boy, they were here in Michigan. They were both attending University of Michigan for their graduate degrees, and so we got to see him. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited to see this little one. It's nothing like it when they're still little pod people. They hardly even look like humans yet, but they're adorable to those of us who are related to them, right? Uh, is the shutdown for COVID? No. Well, COVID is surging a little bit right now. The shutdown is because the Democrats and Republicans can't agree on a budget. And the budget year ends September 30th. So if they can't come to agreement, it stalemates and they close down all non essential things, one of which is national parks, which I would kind of disagree with, but they didn't ask me. And, you know, I just think, wow, because so many of the national parks are so huge that you can see certain things. Like if you drive by Mount Rushmore, you can see it from the expressway because it's so big and it's, the four faces. It is four, right? Or is it five? I think it's four. Probably should know that. All I know is that 1 year, that was the only national park we got to. And it was better than I thought. I really wasn't sure what it would be, but uh, yeah. So let's see. What else are you guys at all thinking about next year? I know I hate to kind of say that when we're still in the middle. Well, we're not in the middle. We're kind of, well, for a lot of the UK, I mean, you can do a lot of gardening almost year round, depending on where you are. We don't have that luxury here in the Detroit area. It's a little too cold. But I have found myself thinking about next year's garden a lot. What worked this year, I tend to grow a lot of varieties of things. And I think I might, for next year, cut down my variety choices. More like just make it a garden that we know we really like, everything that's growing. I don't know that is going to happen because I start looking at seeds in the middle of winter and can't wait. Yeah, I hope you're well healed by next year, Francis, for sure. Uh, yeah, that's what I mean. Garden of Whedon is saying I'm kind of shattered now with all the harvesting and processing. It's true. I mean, you want a fruitful garden, and yet it does seem to get all kind of come in at once, no matter how well you try to plan for more of a uh, scheduled. I can pick this and I can pick that because it doesn't always grow exactly like you would like it to. Oh, well, that's right, Claire. You're kind of busy at your home, aren't you? Aren't you doing a kitchen? Um, yeah, and once things get like a hold, it's a weeding and like things choking out things we really want. That's not the best, is it? Uh, yes. Um, Leanne's talking about trying not to yet, but yes, garlic. We went through garlic today on what we're keeping, what we're replanting. I think I have less garlic than I've ever had going in, and we'll see how that. But after my year of 700 cloves, nothing quite uh, does that, does it? Uh, okay, Francis has a question. That's the plan here too. I tried too many things, too many new things, and some I didn't really like or have much success. I hate to say it, but Brad's atomic great. Brad's, you like it or you don't like it. And I think we all have expectations of what a tomato should taste like. So I'm like, if at least you don't like it now. And, you can not grow it again. So I was very impressed this year with the orange accordion. Stunning tomato. Like just wish I could preserve it whole. Uh, it's stunning. Uh, Flavor, I would give it, depending on how what you do with it, but it's maybe not my favorite tomato. But I will probably will always grow it because it's so beautiful. And if you follow my Instagram, I did have some pictures where it has these accordion, like, it has like folds. Reminds me of like I don't know, but they're little pieces of tomato. And we slice down each one and put basil and fresh mozzarella in it. So the salad got served like a big tomato and it was lovely. So, okay, so Claire, I'm going to go back up and see what Claire's doing. Yes. Oh, well, functional is good. So the kitchen is functional. That's good. But I mean, my dehydrator has been going for weeks. And I imagine it's going to keep going for weeks. Done a whole lot of tea dehydrating this year. That has been like a wonderful thing. And I dehydrated red vein sorrel, and it makes such a lovely tea. Because you know how citrusy sorrel is, so it almost has a light citrus flavor, and because of the red veins, it turns it a lovely soft mauvey pink. And it's very subtle tea, but it's lovely. So if you have red vein sorrel and aren't sure what to do with it, because it's a pretty aggressive flavor, uh, tea, I'm so happy because I have so much of it. Let's see. Let's see. Does anyone else use shop bought garlic to plant? Work great for us this year. I don't, because most shop bought garlic is soft neck, and we get really cold here. So hard neck does much better. The problem with hard neck, though, it doesn't store as long as the soft neck. But yeah, I have tried that with, I usually buy organic if I'm trying to use it. So there's no, budding. They usually spray it with something so that it won't sprout. Um, but yeah, I think that will work great. And many times that's much less expensive. I would put it though in a soak before I planted it. I do soak my garlic cloves before I plant them. And one soak is vodka, like the cheapest, cheapest vodka you can find. Soak them for a couple hours in that, and then I put them in a tub of, let me think, mycorrhizal fungi, kelp. Is it kelp? I need to find my recipe again. And there's one more. Oh, fish fertilizer. And I soak them for like 24 hours and then plant them. And the vodka is really just to clear off any potential bacteria or fungus that the garlic might have. Uh, oh, nice. Frances got her hard neck all set up. Let's see. I had virus in my garlic, so can't use any for seed. Oh, the crop was okay in the end. Yeah, sometimes I think, we gotta roll with the punches, right? We can't always make everything work out the way that we want it to. Oh, another disappointment with Brad's. Sorry. I just feel like they are one of the tomatoiest tasting tomatoes I've ever grown. But okay, okay, we got some. Yes, Julie's saying she just dehydrated tomatoes, and they do taste, I think, exactly like sun drieds. And yeah, and I love that I just have them, in my cupboard dried. So it's anything I can do to not have to freeze it or put it in my refrigerator. I'm very happy because those are always the two spaces that things get lost and run out of space. Yeah, that to me is kind of shocking. Like, how do you not know that you can't go to any purveyor that sells garlic without knowing what kind of garlic you're buying? So, yeah, I think that's just a little laziness. I don't know. Uh, oh, we have another reason to maybe try using store bought. Biggest bulbs you've gotten. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, I'm way behind on the chat. Sorry. Trying to read and talk at the same time. It takes a minute, right? And okay. Oh, well, have fun with your dehydrator. Wait a minute. There we go. Clicking on the right one now. Have fun with your dehydrator. It is. I just dehydrated a whole bunch of peppers. These are my hot peppers, uh, and we're harvesting so many times on our herbs for tea uh, that I think I might actually have enough tea to get me through to next year, which would be awesome. Oh, and I think that's also really good. Uh, Francis bought them from uh, a guy at our village Saturday market. He's got super garlic. I think that's a great way because you know what it can look like. And I think I've told you all this before. There is a site, I think it's called Keene, Keene Organics, that is a garlic farm. And they have all kinds of very helpful tips, when to fertilize, when to do this. And they sell beautiful garlic. Matter of fact, I don't think I have enough to grow this year, so I might actually see if they still have any. It's a little late to try to go get the garlic you want, but I think I might. Well, thank you. I'm trying my best. But then sometimes Claire makes a funny comment that really distracts me, and I have to go back and go, okay, let's try this again. So I'm trying to think what else needs to come out. My tomatoes, I have a row along the back of my garage that had like 14 tomato plants. And that's usually where I grow my indeterminates because I have strings that go up the back of my garage. But my determinates, boy, they just look awful. And it's facing my neighbor's yard. So it really bothers me. because I'm like, this is the view they have? This is horrible. So I'm thinking I might pull those and pop in some mum plants so that they maybe at least have something nice to look at here this last month that we can all be outside. Uh, that's okay, Claire. Uh, I just heard my cat howling in the background, so I thought he's probably going to show up soon, and I don't know, wants some form of attention. Uh, but he hasn't yet jumped up and walked in front of the camera, so I'm pleased with that. I plant my garlic um, usually mid-October. This year, maybe earlier, but I think mid-October. I probably will keep with that because we here we will be cool. Although October as it gets towards Halloween, we get the colder nights, colder mornings, all of that stuff. But then we get a hard frost at some point in there, and it then starts warming up again. So it'll go like through to almost Christmas, where it's not, we're not down in like the 28s and 26s. We're still up in the, 32, 31, kind of goes back and forth. So I don't want to get them in too early because I don't want them to grow up a lot of green and then be killed in January when we're not killed, but I don't know if they'll die back and come back up. I've never taken that risk, I don't think. Or maybe it's happened and I haven't been watching. It will find a way to get up there. Okay, Julie is saying the greyhound was very interested in your cat. Did he come in? Or did he meow? Maybe you were meowing. I saw something else from Julie. I think I might have gotten distracted from it. Oh no, it was the sun-dried tomatoes. Okay. Didn't want to. Oh yes. Oh, we get cold, 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 cold for a long time. A month of January and February are usually so cold. But we do get the garlic splits, like no problem, because it's so cold. Got to look for the plus sides, right? And the fact that we have central heating, these are all good first world problems that we are able to enjoy. Okay, so what else? So I'm planting crimson clover in my tomato beds. I think I'm going to seed the tomatoes that are down the side of my neighbor's property. I'm going to seed the clover, but also plant a mum or something so that it looks prettier for them. And I still have a few pumpkins on the vine. Don't seem to be doing too much. My squash has been very hit or miss. I think my gardening has gotten worse since I started doing YouTube. I don't know why, but it's just not as prolific. And I'm sure doing more. I'm not doing less. Although sometimes I think if you leave your stuff alone, it probably does better. But yeah, I'll get some pumpkins. I mean, I had this whole vision of all the little. We have two. Okay, we have a little boy on our left, maybe 3-ish. Mom is expecting another baby soon. We have a little 1-year-old in the back, and the person who helps me with my gardening has 2 toddlers. So I had, not toddlers, they're little people. I had this vision of them going through the pumpkin patch and picking out their pumpkins. I don't think there's going to be much for them to pick from. So I might have to go to a big pumpkin patch, buy some pumpkins, and hide them in my garden so that they can paint their because they're all at still, I think, the age that they still need to just paint them. I'm not sure I'd give them a sharp knife and say, carve it, please. That'll be so fun. Wow. Got down to 2.3 Celsius last night. So we may get an early frost. Huh. That's cold. Trying to think, what is that for us? 4.6 plus 30. Oh, that's cold. Yeah, you're in the 30s. So that's very chilly. But British Columbia, I mean, you're very north. Uh, yeah, you're really north. Yeah, I try to grow small squash because it's only my husband and I. And you do a big butternut. I mean, you're making butternut stuff for what are you freezing it? And like I said, I don't have a ton of freezer room, and the hubby is suggesting that we don't need any more. So I'm still working on that. Uh, you know, Absolutely true. Uh, yes, yeah. I did do a video early on, and I said I'm not growing any summer squash because I really don't like them. But I decided to grow some patty pan because I do like those when they're really small. But they haven't amounted to. And normally, you put in one summer squash plant, you're giving them to everyone because you just can't use them all. And this year, I haven't offered one to anybody because I'm like, we're not getting very many of these. So I absolutely agree. And I think for us here in Michigan, I'm in the Detroit area. I feel like we had hotter and hotter summer, more violent storms, winds like, I mean, we're starting to get tornado watches here. Never used to have, never used to have happen here. Last 5 or 6 years, it's a pretty regular occurrence. So I think with all of it, and then we've had deluge. Is that's the word, right? Deluge, pouring rain, buckets of rain that come down in no time at all, which is not that's not raining. I mean, you those lovely slow rains that go on for hours is what your plants uh, really want. But I have still noticed, even in all of this, rainwater still does better than any city water you can use on your garden because there's nothing like the day after a lovely rain. And it's almost like everything grew 6 inches, and they're all happier and they're all prettier. And um, I think it's an awesome. Let's see, we got some squash talk going on here. I love the squash. It wasn't, that was not something that was ever like a fan of. But I grew up in a home, well, God rest her soul, I can say this. My mom was not a good cook. So I think I learned how to cook out of necessity. um, so we didn't adventure into anything like squash. She would not have done that. Um, and she was from Glasgow, and her mom lived with us. So my grandma also lived with us. And, she cooked like she lived in the early, grew up in the early 1900s, right? So it wasn't really working for us. Okay, the patty pan mops up all the flavor. Is that a good thing? Huh, I can't tell sometimes, Claire. You're, sometimes a little quicker than I am. Uh, yeah, I think we can all say uh, that this has been a challenging summer to grow. And, the fact that we might, well, that we are going to be leaving for the month of October, which is pretty much the wind down month, right? You're kind of getting everything ready and, well, at least for us here. I'm just not necessarily cropping the same that I would. Uh, yeah. We had so much rain. The runner beans, dwarf beans have been prolific. Courgettes for us in the Midlands of England have been enough from 3 plants. Well, uh, I think if I had normally, if I planted 3 plants, I would have more zucchini or summer squash than I would know what to do with. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I think we are just seeing a whole lot of differences in our and we have to somehow adjust to that. And I don't think the adjustment means to go back to how they were. I think we almost have to look at this year and go, well, I need to kind of plan for that for next year because that very well may be our new normal. So, July, oh, yeah, July and August were just cold and wet. We had more water, more rain in the month of July than we had in the month of May or April. And so we started the season almost in a drought. And then come July, it was raining almost every other day. So it had a very unique impact on what we were growing for sure. Oh, okay, Claire. Thanks. No, they're really one of my favorites. And I actually like eating them raw. So uh, I love Crown Prince. I don't think I got one this year because I found a place where I can get those seed. Because so many of the places that I used to order seeds like that from uh, don't ship to the U.S. right now. So until all this COVID stuff and everything else that's been happening slows down, I think I'm not going to be able to. Oh, I'm just hoping there's going to be one out there because sometimes the squash area gets a little mangled and it's hard to see everything that's growing. Uh, oh, okay. What was bad English? Oh, you're so cute, Claire. Okay, I'm bending to Claire's will. Okay, thank you, Claire. uh, my husband just took his lunch, tomato sandwich, and left the room saying, "I just want normal, ordinary tomatoes. Don't be giving me all these fancy schmancy heirloom new hybrids. Just give me a tomato." Colin is saying another vote for the Crown Prince. Despite the bad weather, we have loads of fruit. Oh, I hope you get them. They kind of are the crown of princes, aren't they? No, they're so flavorful. Uh, and they're easy to grow, Leanne. They're very easy to grow. Um, And I use it. I mean, I picked mine really small, maybe about 3 inches around, and I use them like if we have a charcuterie board or something. I just use those as a vehicle for getting hummus or whatever else I'm trying to get. Um, yeah, they're so good. Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. Because I don't think we're going to go back. Put it that way. I think this is going to become the new normal, which I don't like. But what can one person? You do your best. You recycle what you can. You stop buying as much plastic. I don't know. It's a very complicated issue, isn't it? Uh, okay, I didn't even have. I had a couple of my delicatas come through, but that was it. Oh, I got a Turk's turban to try. No, I actually bought seed for that this year, and I thought I'm going to have too many squash. Silly me. I probably should have put it in the ground. They're gorgeous. I was growing it mainly even for a decoration at the holidays, but I understand they also taste pretty good. So maybe next year I'll try one of those. Um, okay, so my beetroot game. I grow bull's blood beets for the greens, or should I say for the reds, because they have this gorgeous, uh, gosh, deep, deep, deep red. I'd call it red wine red, uh, and they're delicious. And so I grow those for salad greens. Uh, so I don't care uh, how the beet does. I grow Detroit Goldens or any kind. I prefer to eat golden beets to red beets, but I love the red beet green. So I think it's been okay. Uh, Not my best year, but like I said, I don't think I've had a best year of anything. Oh, peppers! Oh my gosh, peppers are coming out of my ears. Yes, I've had a lot of peppers. Oh wait, Stephen is saying he's got 20 an entire fence line of the Turk's turban they climbed, and only one out of 20 fell off. Well, those are some pretty good odds. That's great. Wow, 20 of them. That's impressive. Way up there in Minnesota, that's impressive. Yeah, I prefer the golden ones. So I don't know if those have the same impact, but I do eat the greens of the red ones. So, yeah, doesn't everything taste better when you grow it yourself? I mean, I've yet to plant anything that doesn't taste better. Uh, let's see what Colin is saying here. He grew Amish paste tomatoes for canning, but they are so good. We have eaten them all fresh. I will certainly be growing them again. Yes. Yeah, and this year, I think Claire shares my love for Purple Heart tomatoes. I think that might be one of the only varieties I grow next year because they're delicious fresh. They turn into sauce and they can up beautifully. They're a very meaty tomato. Uh, that might be my go-to. Exactly. Oh, Julie's had a good year for cucumbers. I think mine have been hit or miss. I mean, we had enough, uh, but I think it's so much. Where is it in your garden? How has this crazy weather this year impacted? Um, but I'm glad you've had that. So you probably have a lot of pickles or dehydrate, or no, what is it? You can't dehydrate cucumber. Well, I guess you could. I don't know what that would taste like. Freeze dried. I understand freeze dried cucumber is wonderful. Oh, so you've had your best year. This is clear. I got my wish from last year when I said in a vid I wanted everyone's beetroot. And I've had my best beet year yet. Wonderful. That's wonderful. No, you got, okay, so Stephen, you got 20 turbines off of 3 plants. Wow, those are in a very happy place. That's amazing. The only squash I've ever had that kind of uh, number from is when I grew the mini uh, spaghetti squash, um, and we had more than we knew what to do with. But I got the like personal serving size spaghetti squash. Uh, yes, yeah. We all need to do our best. You're absolutely correct. I mean, I can't, but it's us. Everybody doing a little bit will make, because that's a lot of people doing a little bit. I was very discouraged. Well, I don't know if I should even talk about it, but I'm gonna. Uh, that I found out that all the recycling numbers that are put on the bottom of plastic was actually uh, thought up by the people that produce the plastic, and that not all of it is recyclable. And it was kind of used as a, like, make us feel better about using plastic, but it doesn't really do as much as we think for the ecosystem. So that I thought was very discouraging and kind of shame on them. But I guess big companies don't always have a conscience. Um, I think, oh, Stephen, you got to have, I know you say you really don't have a big garden, but you crank out an incredible amount of produce. Yeah. Wow. No, that's good for you. Oh, that sounds really good. Claire has a purple heartthrob on a puff pastry pizza thing that's in her oven. Well, I think between a really good tomato and puff pastry, you kind of can't go too wrong, can you? Uh, oh, overwintering of chilies. Okay. I'm going to have to overwinter my chilies, as despite starting them in January, they are only starting to produce flowers. Oh, yeah. And I'm thinking you're in the UK as well, aren't you? I know you guys have been really hammered with compost issues. Um, yeah, Stephen, you're absolutely correct. Oh, where did I leave you? Yes, here you are. Freshness that you get straight out of the garden. Supermarket veg couldn't even compare in a million years. Absolutely. I think particularly when you get like to a tomato, even if you've picked it a little early, because I find with a lot of my heirlooms, if I pick them just a mish early, like just before they're fully ripened, and let them finish in the kitchen. They don't crack as much. They just seem to do better. So I've moved to that, and it really has helped. But even though it didn't fully ripen on the vine, I wouldn't put it up against anything. Okay, question. What variety of golden beetroot have you tried? We did golden eye this year, very tasty. I have grown Detroit. I don't know if it's Detroit Golden or Golden Detroit. Golden Detroit and give me a moment. It's coming. I can see it. It's one word. Boldor. I've done both of those, and I think I prefer the Golden Detroit, but they're both very nice. Very, very nice. Yes. I've been adding 1/3 dark tomato to the sauce. Yes. I think, and I've even done fully uh, more purple tomatoes. I just think they're sweeter. I think they're richer and they have more complex flavor. So I think next year I'm gonna grow a boatload of purple heart or purple heart throb and do my sauce canning. Because this year I'm not going to can much sauce because I still have a lot left from last year. So I thought, well, I don't want to can it then. Well, I obviously had a very good um, year last year on tomatoes. So let's see. Huh. Yeah, I have a feeling when I pull up my bull's blood beets that they're going to be, because they've been kicking off leaves for me all year, all season. So yeah, I don't know what that's going to come up as. I pulled up a rutabaga um, Tuesday, maybe. This thing looked like something prehistoric, huge, so big, and then it had like a little tail on the bottom. Not sure what that's about. So I'm gonna have to cut that one up and see if it's like woody inside or just enormous. Uh, oh, that's a good idea. Grating their glut of cucumber and freezing it adds to soup. I have never added cucumber to soup. Very interesting. Wow, cucumber pie. Wow. Wouldn't it be really watery? I don't know. I always think of cucumber as, 95% water. So, huh. That's going to make me look up some recipes after we're done. Yeah. Although we did have a tomato. Well, actually, it was a tomato galette, but it's essentially tomato pie. That was really good. I was a bit skeptical, but I hadn't had a tomato sandwich until last year, and then I thought, ooh, these are really good. I understand why they have a reputation. Well, I think Crown Prince, and I haven't done this, but I was gonna look this up. Might be the same squash as sweet meat. And I only think I'll know that if I can grow both and compare them. But they sure look. Uh, oh, Crown Prince is an F1. Never mind. Unless, of course, sweet meat is too. And maybe that's the name it goes by on this side of the pound. But I was thinking of growing both of those because they sure look alike. Uh, Okay, actually, DC gets lots of snow, but in the southern BC here, we only get really bad. We don't get really bad temps. 3 feet of snow, but not too cold. Oh, so you're zone 6 and 7. Okay. I'm 6B. So we might have well, the whole zone thing. Well, let's not even go there right now. Uh, and feet of snow will really insulate what's your ground. So that's awesome. And British Columbia is so pretty. So pretty. Okay, they do not recycle all the plastic we separate into the recycling. Some goes into a landfill anyway when they buy carbon credits. Most are honest, but not all. Yeah, I would really like. I did some research on this and I couldn't find specifically because I think maybe some of the people who uh, let the information out are some of the people who are controlling it. And I'm not a conspiracy theory person, so don't worry. Well, but I do understand that some people are not as honest as they need to be when they're doing things. So I would love to know specifically what ones actually do get recycled. And I would stop buying stuff that was in the other ones. I mean, it would be that easy. Like if this is going to go to a landfill, I'm not interested. Oh, you had Claire had three purple heartthrob plants this year. I think I did buy them from Victory Seeds. Actually, I think that is where I got them because not everybody carries them, and I'm looking for. I try to grow some indeterminate tomatoes and some determinate, and the purple heartthrob is determinate, so it's a little easier to control. Huh. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. So it is so good to be back. Hey, seriously, it's so good to be back. I really have missed these. Uh, uh, oh, thank you, Stephen. This is so nice. No, I tell you, this gardening community is so uh, lovely. Yeah, so lovely. So thank you all for being so lovely. Oh, spider mites. Oh, a red spider mite. Now, those I haven't gotten. Treatment is quite difficult as I need to warm the water. Uh, isn't it sometimes I feel like we're growing these things for the bugs and the birds but hopefully we can share a little bit with them and still get. Oh my goodness, it's over an hour. Wow, this flew by. Hey, thank you so much for being here. So lovely to interact with you all. I will be back next Thursday, come hell or high water. Uh, this is really important to me, and I'm going to try to figure out how to do this even while we're traveling. So look out for those uh, updates, and I'll keep you all updated on that. Okay. So have a good week gardening. Enjoy that if your garden is starting to wind down like mine is, I'm just kind of going to go with that this year and let it, just let it kind of do its thing. I had some basil that I grew that we harvested so much of. I'm letting it go to seed just for the bees. They seem to love it. Uh, and, worry about it later. I don't need to, get those all up because we love seeing our pollinators eat these things, right? So, oh, thank you guys are so kind. Again, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Have a great week. Bye now. Okay, where's my close button? There it is. Sorry, I reduced my screen so I don't have to stare at my face the whole time. Okay, see you soon. Bye.